Yeah, I think it's a incredible thing to be able to hopefully achieve. But I'm just very thankful for Juan Cuban bringing me on board, and then also being able to work with Nico, and now our new ownership with Patrick. And so again, it's just I'm with a great group of leaders. We're in a great city when you talk about sports. So, and then you talk about our team when you talk about Luca and Kai. And the rest of the group, it's an incredible opportunity, and I'm just very fortunate to be in this seat.
What has Derrick Jones meant to you guys, not just on offense, but defense also?
Yeah, well, I think it's when you talk about D Jones, it's not just one thing; it's just his character of who he is. Um, he's about playing the game the right way. Uh, he was given a chance, and he took full advantage of it. He never complains. He does his job at a high level, and is really appreciative of the opportunity. And when you talk to him and you get to know him, I mean, he's very consistent with his messaging that he just wants to win and be a part of it. And he's definitely a part of it. He's definitely helped us win. And so we're very lucky to have him, no matter if he was signed first or last when it comes to free agency. He's become a big part of the Mavs culture. You'll talk about defense, but also he's shooting the three at a high clip. His athleticism, and we joked about it at the beginning of the season that now we can participate in the layup line. We have athletes who can dunk, and he's part of that athletic crew.
13, 13 years ago today, you and your team went on a 22-5 run to tie the NBA Finals at 1 game apiece with Miami. You guys obviously didn't give up that day. What parallels do you see from that team to this team that are similar to what you experienced 13 years ago?
Yeah, I think this team is about adjustments. It's about learning from one game or one possession to the next. This team is very steady. We don't get up too high or we don't get down too low. We just love to compete in the competition. And that's not saying that we're going to win every game or win every quarter, but we learn from that and we bounce back and we put our best foot forward in that next quarter or that next opportunity that we have. And so it's a great group to be around. Seeing that last night at dinner, guys had a really good time, and it's really simple. We keep things simple, and they thrive in that situation, and it's fun to be around those guys.
Jason, what has the last 3 days been like since Thursday night, just as far as the coaching prep goes, getting the scouting report out? Like, how big is the scouting report? I mean, is it an overload? Is it an overload of players, or what do you really try to get across to them and to just your staff too, starting to get ready for this?
Yeah, I think for the staff, it can be a little complex, but for the players right now, it's really simple. We've been just really the last couple of days, we've been off mentally and physically to get ready for Boston. Today was about us. We didn't talk or do anything about Boston. That will start tomorrow. And so really it's been more for the coaches to get ready. But for the players, again, we will keep it simple. And again, in the last 3 series, come up with a game plan and be ready to execute and then be ready to pivot if something's not working. Yeah, they're gonna they're well coached. Joe is one of the best coaches in this league. You look at they've been there before. They have talented players, duels. If you want to look at 2, if you want to look at 3, if you want to look at 5, they have quite a few guys who can play the game. They shoot the 3 extremely well. Defensively, they have great hands. They can guard, and so they cause a problem. That's why they're one of the best in the league. And so we got our work cut out. When we'll see what happens.
The raw circus of the finals is so much different than normal everyday NBA. So what are you telling these guys? You have have so many guys who haven't been through it, what's kind of the messaging to get them through it?
Same messaging as the Western Conference in the first round and second round. It's just basketball. It's just more of you guys that have more opinions, but it's to enjoy it, because you're not guaranteed that to be here every year, to understand that there's one goal, and that's to win a championship, and there's only 2 teams left, and we're one of them. And so to take pride in that, but to enjoy it, and to understand it's not going to be easy. This is the hardest thing to do, as much as we said the last round is the hardest thing. So for this, to enjoy this, the atmosphere, to enjoy the media, the attention, and to be ready to do your job, and that's to find a way to win on the road.
Are you going to be able to enjoy this?
I've been enjoying it, can't you tell?
Speaking of us guys and gals, last April of last year, you had to answer some pretty tough questions from us for a variety of reasons. Is there any personal vindication for you in this run?
No, you guys ask all the tough questions. These are tough questions. No, everybody has their right to their opinion. That's fair, and that's just, you guys are doing your job. As the head coach of the Mavs, I'm doing my job. There were tough questions last year, tough questions that will come from this series. I will give you the answer. Some will like it, some will not. But my job is to help these young men get paid, and also to find a way to win a championship. And I've done that since I was a player, and since I've been a coach. There's a lot of people who have gotten paid from just listening to what I've asked them to do as a player, and then also as a coach. So now we have an opportunity to win a championship. 2 out of the 3 years we've gone to the Western Conference Finals. Some would say that's pretty cool. Some will say that that's failure, but that's just the way it goes. You're not going to make everybody happy, but I know how to win. I've done that since elementary school to the highest level. I've won gold medals. I've won championships, and so and I've won a championship as a coach, assistant coach, and so now I get the opportunity to do it, hopefully as a head coach.
Jason, it's very rare that a team missed the playoffs one year and the very next season get to the NBA Finals. What does that mean to you if you guys were able to accomplish that?
We had a plan. You guys just didn't know it. Yeah, we got D-Live and Omax. It's all right to fail. I said that before. It's how you fail. And we were in the lottery, and we got a piece that was huge in D-Live. And then we actually get another piece in Omax. And so it's all right. You can't win a championship every year. But how do you build a championship organization? Dallas hasn't been in that situation in a long time. And Nico and Patrick are doing that, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. But again, the first year I was here, we went to the Western Conference Finals. Hadn't been there in a long, long time, but we acted like we were there every year, but we weren't. But now we're starting to build something, and it's kind of fun to be a part of. And that doesn't mean you're going to win a championship every year. But if you can participate and play for one, that's fun. And that's what we're trying to build here.
You played Boston twice this year. Did you put any stock in one of those games at all? The spring or the totally different circumstances?
Yeah, you definitely will watch them and see what, they've done against us and what we've done to have success, and what didn't work. But just like I watched the preseason games of when we were in Abu Dhabi against Minnesota, 2 different teams. I thought Minnesota was really, really good then. I thought we were in a little trouble. But when you look at, with D-Live in Minnesota and Abu Dhabi and the growth that he had, and so the teams are different. Both teams have grown up. Both teams are playing great basketball at this point. So, but we will look at the tape and see what, success they had against our defense, and if we had any success against their defense, and we'll try to see if we can get to that more than they can.
You're the guy who sits in that chair and gets the accolades
and also the arrows.
What accolades?
Well,
I'm just joking.
But you get a contract.
Uh-huh.
So, but what at the trade deadline, you guys pretty major team in a large way.
Yeah.
It changed the way you guys play. I wonder if, in terms of the whole coaching staff working together, how much revamping was actually done? How much of that was, how difficult was that, and how much credit should your staff be getting on as well?
Yeah, I think the staff should get a lot of credit because they have worked extremely hard this year. We joked about it early in the season. Our defense was our offense. It was. We were playing offense at a high level, and we were scoring a lot of points. And then we made a roster change. The league made a roster change. Physicality is part of it, and we adapted to that, and we embraced the physical play, and we used it to our advantage, and that helped us. And so my staff works extremely hard, but again, they love coaching, they love improving the young players. The development sometimes will go unnoticed, but they spend a lot of hours in the gym and helping these young guys. When you look at Hardy, Omax, Lively, being able to work, and then there's a trust factor that those guys have with the staff, that they trust what they're selling because they're doing it at a very high level.
Jason, you mentioned Lively a few times. How is his development and impact throughout the course of the season? It seems like he's peaking right now. How is that compared to what maybe your reasonable expectations were when you drafted him, in the lottery, but kind of as a project at that point?
Yeah, I think when we got Lively, we felt that it was going to, fill one of the holes that Luka was looking for. A vertical guy. Had some similarities to Tyson when you talk not just his physical or his build, but his voice. As a rookie, he talked a little bit more than normal, and so you could see the future of him being the anchor of the defense. The future just happened to come a lot faster after Abu Dhabi and Madrid. You could see that he wanted to be the sponge. He wanted that responsibility, and sometimes young players will shy away from that, but he ran to it, and to be able to rim run. There's no plays called for him. He benefits from Luka and Kai getting downhill, and then on the defensive end, or take that back, offensively, missed shots, he's gotten some big offensive rebounds for us throughout the season. And so his growth of offense, understanding, sometimes in AAU basketball, if a play isn't ran for you, you go into a different team. But for him, he just plays his role, does his job at a high level. And then defensively, being able to switch, guard on the perimeter, and then also protect the rim. And then, as we've always talked about, the only way you can have a good defense is by rebounding the ball, and he does that for us. And so I joked about, Abu Dhabi trip. It was an eye-opener for him going against Gobert and Towns and Reed. But you can see from that point to where he is today, there was a big jump, and we're happy that he made that jump.
Jason, I know
You mentioned just the way that the officiating changed, right?
Yeah.
And some difference in physicality. How have you guys been able to take advantage of that, and how have you seen that? Or is it even cranked up a little bit more in the playoffs in terms of how the game is being officiated or not being officiated?
The first 3 or 4 minutes, you got to figure out, what's being called, and then pivot from there. But the physicality, definitely, I think, after All-Star break, definitely was a little bit more of the touch foul went away. The defense had a fighting chance, And I think that's what the league was looking for, was not the score to be 150 to 160, but that it was a little bit more competitive and that the defense did have a chance to guard the offensive player. And I think that's where the physicality came back into play.
Coach Kidd with Omax, he was on the practice floor today. Did he do everything, and could you see a return for him coming soon?
Omax is working back from his injury. He did not participate in our practice. He did everything individually. So, but he's working extremely hard, and I don't know if he's going to participate in this finals, but he's doing better, and so we'll see.
Jay, I know you brought up the switching. Where did that trust come from? How did you develop that trust that he was able and capable to, to switch on the smaller guy? Something that for a lot of the regular season you were doing, you weren't asking him to do very often.
Yeah, we had to fail first, and then to help him to understand what the smalls were going to try to do to him, and the coaching staff did a great job with that. And even though he's not officially on the coaching staff, but Tyson has done an incredible job with him. And so understanding Tyson's played in this league, came in as a 3, finished as a center. And so to understand what the smalls are going to try to do to you, I thought Tyson has done a really good job with him.
Jason, I know Marquis doesn't play a lot. What kind of impact have you had on your team on the sideline during the game and also in the locker room?
Yeah, I think when you talk about Smooth, I think he's done an incredible job. I think I've mentioned it before. If I had a vote, I know it would go between Luka and Kai. It would be split as MVP, but the one who has really been great for us as the MVP has been Smooth. A lot of times coaches will always say the guys who score or play the most minutes or have the impact on, the stat line, but Smooth has been incredible for us in the locker room, and we need more vets to help these younger kids understand how to be successful, not just on the floor, but off the floor too.
You and him were together with the Lakers when they won the title in bubble in 2020. Did you see that kind of impact that he had?
Yeah, yes. That's why he's here.
Jason, you've reiterated just since you've been in Dallas, we can't take Luka for granted in this game. Playoffs, he's been leading almost every single category. What have you seen from his level of play?
Yeah, and I will continue to say that you can't take someone who's so great for granted. A lot of times that's what we do. You pencil him in for a triple-double, but what he has done with his physical, what he's going through physically, he comes to work. He knows that he's on the biggest stage. He loves the big stage, and he wants to win. And so for him to fight through his injuries to get us to the finals has been incredible. We get a couple days here for him to catch his breath mentally and physically because it doesn't get any easier. But again, what he has done is shown that he's one of the best players in the world.
And just him as a new dad, have you seen his perspective change any this season?
His softer side?
Just kids really get perspective.
Oh, he understands what a nap is or what sleep is. But yes, I think he doesn't take for granted being able to take a nap. But I think anytime you have a newborn that comes into your life, it puts things in perspective. And he's a very humble kid. When you talk about Luka and about Sharon, I think one of the things that we'll see that was caught on camera is him giving the MVP, Western Conference MVP to D-Live. And I think that message alone, he understands how important D-Live is to this team. And I think he was probably kidding, but also serious because of the importance what D-Live brings to us. And this is someone that comes off the bench. And so, but that's who Luka is. He's very humble and appreciative, but I think also newborn, you get to see a little softer side of him too.
Coach, going off that, we've seen stars excel in the playoffs. We've seen stars struggle in the playoffs. What is it about Luka that you've seen that makes him so focused and able to play well in the big moment?
That's a good question. I think it goes back to him when at Real Madrid, you know, just being on the biggest stage at the age of 15 or 16 years old. I know there's a clip of him out there that he's playing against Russ. He's guarding Russ, gets Russ to shoot a jump shot. So that let us know that he can't play defense. But it's kind of cool that he's been on this stage as a teenager or as an older teenager, and he has always adapted, or he's been able to perform at the highest level, and for that he can draw on those experiences and get his game to that level. When you saw Game 5, it was very similar to Game 7 in Phoenix. He didn't let those fans get a chance to cheer. He wanted to end the game, and he did in that first quarter. And so, again, he is special. He's one of the best players in the world, and again, he loves the competition. Thanks. Thank you.
Why do you think everything clicked so well for you this season?
I guess I probably just took full advantage of the opportunity that I had. My coaches and my teammates trusted in me a lot this season, and it just worked out for me.
What has gone on through your mind since this past Thursday when you guys clinched a spot in the NBA Finals? I mean, what have you done these last 3 days?
Nothing has been going through my mind. I'm ready to play. That's all that's going through my mind is I'm ready to play.
You've obviously been in this stage before. You got a bigger role this time around. What you learned from that first final appearance that would help you for this?
That every game is tough. You got to go out there with that, I guess, a Game 7 mentality, and you never know what you're going to get from the game. You just got to go out there and give it everything that you have, and just live with the results.
Did you find that the step up from the conference finals to the finals was a step up?
I mean, of course, yeah, this is definitely going to be a lot more intense, but we just got to fight through it and just play a game that we need to play.
Do you relish this opportunity to go up against 2 of the best offensive talents in the league? We're talking about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. What does it mean to you to have this opportunity to be able to go against 2 of the best in the league?
I'm just happy that we still playing basketball. I really don't care who we playing against. I just want to go out there and play, get wins.
You look louder, please, sorry.
Oh, wait.
When you look at the matchup, though, what do you see knowing you're probably going to have to go against one or both of those guys?
I mean, they're good offensive players. Just got to, like I said before, with all the other series, just got to keep them from their spots and try to limit them to the shots that they like to take.
Derrick, before the last series, we asked PJ about the underdog mentality. He said we don't feel like underdogs. You guys are confident. What do you think is like the reason for that mindset? You guys don't feel like underdogs, you feel so confident.
We believe that we could beat anybody. That underdog, I don't like that really, but I mean, everybody gonna keep putting that narrative on us. We go out there and we play the game like we're supposed to play, and I don't really think anybody can beat us in the 7-game series.
I asked Lively this about the plane ride back. I think most people saw the photo of you guys guiding around. What was that plane ride back? What were the highlights besides the storm, obviously?
I mean, it's just guys just enjoying the win together, and just knowing that we got another goal and ahead of us, and just getting 4 more wins. That's all we prepared to do, and just ready to get it done.
You guys have more lob dunks than almost all the other teams combined in the playoffs this year. What is it about the lob dunk? Take us through why this is so successful.
We got athletes. We got players that you could just put the ball up in the air and they're gonna go get it no matter where you put it at. It's me, Live, Gav, PJ, Josh whenever we get him, and sometimes Kai when he on the break. We throw Kai some lobs too. But like I said, we got athletes. We just got players that know their role and love to run the floor.
When you look back to when you signed with the Mavs in August and where you are now, has this worked out better than you could have imagined?
Hell yeah. Way better. I mean, I could I could have accepted my player option in Chicago and still been on a team that's not in the playoffs right now. But I mean, I just decided to bet on myself, and I took less money to come here, but the money wasn't the problem. The money wasn't the issue. I just wanted to have the opportunity to be on the floor and to showcase what I'm able to do, and it happened for me.
Free agency usually goes fast. What was it like just to have to wait until August to know where you were playing?
For me, I don't know. It was nerve-wracking, I guess. I just didn't know what was about to happen. Like, I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know who I know who was interested really, because it was just that whole trade with Dame. It just shut everything down for a lot of players. But I talked to Coach Kidd, and he told me once I signed, and if I was to come here, I was gonna have to work for everything. And that's what I did.
Is it kind of funny that the other team you're considering, Boston, is down Jeter facing the finals?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is kind of funny, but I'm just glad I'm glad I made the decision that I did, and I came here.
Sometimes a lot's made out of playing in Boston when it's atmosphere you play in every arena. Is playing up there any different than the other arena?
Not really. I mean, they're probably a little bit louder, and probably say a couple words that you don't like, but that's every fan, that's every arena. You hear things that you don't like. People say things that they shouldn't say, but I mean, I'm in between those lines. I'm playing a game of basketball. I really don't care what everybody else got to say. That's not in between those lines with me.
Do you beat up with that? 'Cause we know the.
You said what?
Do you beat up what the fans say?
I find it funny. I mean, I really don't care what people got to say. Whatever people got to say, they got to say it. You can't change what they're gonna say. As long as they ain't touching me and putting their hands on me, I ain't got no problem with it. You can say whatever you got to say. It's a free world.
Playing on the road in theory is supposed to be more difficult right now. Why do you think you guys been so successful?
We just stay with each other and stay close through the thick and thin. When things going bad, we huddle up and we talk. Whenever team go on a little run, we always telling each other, we taking their punch. Now it's time to give ours. Ain't no need to fold and just shy away from the pressure, because that's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep fighting.
When you think back to the beginning of all this, and that big goofy guy with a name similar to yours walks through the door, and you kind of get to know him, could you see Derrick coming alive like he did this season, accomplishing what he did?
Yeah, I mean, since day one when D-Live came in here, we knew that he could be special, and the kid he came in here, 19, running the floor, and he got a lot of energy, rebound the ball at a high level, and I mean that's all we could expect from him. That's all we could ask, and he did it throughout the whole season for us, and for a rookie, that's great. I mean, I love it, but next year we expect him to step up, and we expect him to step up even more in the finals right now.
Did he surprise maybe everybody the way he's developed?
I mean, probably a little bit of surprise for a couple people, but I mean, the ones that's been in the gym with him every day, we know what he's capable of. We see it every day, so it's not really a surprise for us.
There are a lot of narratives heading into this finals. What is one thing that you wish, media and fans would focus on?
I really don't. That's up to y'all to focus on whatever y'all want to focus on. I know with my team, me and my teammates, we focus on going into Boston, getting one win at a time, and then taking it back home and getting it one win at a time. But I don't know what the media should think about this series, but I know it's going to be a fun one.
Do you think you've made the job for your agent this summer pretty easy?
I would hope so, but nah, like I said, job's not done. I still got a little bit more that I can give, and hopefully I can get a little bit more.
Thank you.
I know Marquise doesn't play a lot, but what has he meant to this team, not just on the sideline during the game, but in the locker room?
Everything. I mean, words of wisdom. He's been to the finals. He's won a championship. He actually beat me in the championship when we was in the bubble. So, I mean, he has a lot of wisdom with his game, and he teaches us a whole bunch. I mean, even though he's not out there playing with us, we all see that Keith is well able to be out there playing with us. But I mean, he just takes that role that he has and he flourishes with it. He lets everybody know what he sees out there. And I mean, he's been helping me tremendously this year. Times when I was upset, I was a little bit out of my head. He was the one that brought me back. That's one thing I always thank him for.
Derrick, when you dream of this moment as a child, how does reality compare?
It just doesn't. You know, the feeling of being able to win, the feeling to be able to go through hardship, the feeling of being able to enjoy this moment with your teammates, with your family, being able to know that there's a lot of time, the amount of days that you stacked to be able to get to this moment. You know, you dream of it. And to being able to be in the finals is something that I didn't expect myself to be a part of for a very long time. So just being able to do this in my first year, I just want to be able to learn as much as I possibly can and grow as much as I possibly can.
Derrick, what have you personally learned about yourself through this playoff run? I know you've been through a lot, and you talk a lot about how your teammates have been able to help you through that. What have you learned about yourself throughout this whole postseason?
You know, I feel like my mama always kind of said this, but, you know, my way is the hardest way. You know, we're not going to take the easy way out. We're not going to cry if things are going our way or if it seems like everything's stacked against us. We just got to be able to huddle together as a family, being able to lean on each other. You know, there's a lot of times where, you know, it might seem like the world's against you, or it might seem like, you know, you look in the mirror and you ain't seeing the same person. But whenever you come in here and you're able to smile with the teammates, being able to laugh with your teammates, being able to enjoy time with your teammates, it makes everything outside of the basketball world that much easier.
What have you thought of Coach Kidd's stewardship, if you will, on this process? As your first NBA coach, so you don't have much to compare it to, but what's it been like for you playing for him?
You know, I feel like he's been one of the best coaches I've ever had. You know, he's putting me in positions where, you know, he's expecting me to fail, and even if I fail, he's going to leave me in there to learn. You know, I feel like, you know, his coaching style fits me very well. You know, he's walking into the locker room and then asking, so what do we think? Being able to have a coach like that who's going to make the players speak, make the players talk to one another, and then say what he thinks is an amazing process. You know, we're able to talk to one another about what we think we need to do together as a team. And then whenever the staff comes in, they bring in their own light, what they see from the court, because players and coaches see the game two different ways, and we're just able to help each other. You know, I feel like Coach Kidd has definitely, you know, there's been a lot of criticism on him, and I don't understand why. You know, I feel like he's an amazing coach and an amazing person.
What are some of the ways that Tyson Chandler has helped you become the player you are today?
Being able to be mentally tough, you know, being able to know that, you know, I look at him and I see myself plus 20, 25 years. And seeing someone who has been in my position, who has been in this seat, who has played in the championship, who has gotten the championship, being able to guide me, it makes me that much more confident in who I am. Knowing that he has my back, he's confident in me, makes me want to go out on the court and just play with that much more aggression.
What is this Boston team holds differently as a threat compared to that of the Clippers, Thunder, and Timberwolves?
You know, I feel like they're an amazing team. You know, they've been on the top 3 teams in the league the entire year. You know, they could shoot the shit out of the ball. You know, 1 through 5, they're an amazing team. They can space the floor. They can get to the rim. They have a lot of weapons that they can use on the floor. So it's just going to be able to try to be able to understand when they're going to use their weapons and when we can try to use their weapon against them.
I'm sure you're familiar with the history of Kristaps here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the matchup with him and Al Horford as well?
It's basketball, man. You know, the media is going to try to turn it into, you know, they're either going to look at Kristaps, they're going to look at Kai, they're going to try to turn it into something. But we're going to go out there and just play. You know, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of tensions that's going on the floor, a lot of tensions that's going on in the locker room, but it doesn't matter to us. We're focused on going out there and getting 4 wins in a row. Not 4 wins in a row, but 4 wins, stack them, and being able to know that there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. There's going to be a lot of people questioning things. and we got to be able to stick together with positive talk and be able to have each other's back.
I think most of us have seen the photo, the team photo on the plane. What was that plane ride back like? Maybe some highlights or discussions.
It was an interesting plane ride back. You know, it was very high spirits in the plane, but you know, we were driving in the thunderstorm. You know, we're able to just lean on each other. We're able to have fun, even in the moments where we're kind of like, "Are we gonna make it back?" But you know, it was a great time. You know, everybody was leaning on each other. Everyone was talking to each other. You know, people in the front of the plane and people talking to the people in the back of the plane. So it was just everybody from the flight stewardess to the pilot. Everybody was happy, and we even had fans that were waiting out in the rain at 2, 3 in the morning. So being able to have people like that back you up, it just makes you want to go out there even harder.
Did you envision yourself having this kind of impact in your rookie year based on what you've done? And what was the vision that the staff had for you going into the season?
I don't think any of us expected this. I ain't expect this. My mom ain't expect this. Tyson ain't expect this. Jason Kidd ain't expect this. They expected me to come to the Dallas Mavericks and learn. And I feel like that's what I did. You know, I don't think they expected me to learn this much this quick. And I think I've been able to be very fortunate for them to put me in positions to learn. You know, there's been a lot of times where I was unsure of play calls, unsure of positions, unsure of different things. But I've been able to lean on my team. You know, they backed me up. They understand that I'm rookie. They understand that I haven't been in this situation before. But, you know, I'm going to fake it till I make it.
Perfect for the field in the Western Conference Finals. What do you attribute that to? What does that say about your potential long term?
You know, I attribute that to I have an angel on my shoulder. You know, I feel like she helped me out there making my dunks and making my little hooks, some free throws, and just being able to just be a voice on the court. You know, I feel like I can definitely attribute that 16-16 for my mother.
I know Marquise doesn't play a lot, but talk about the leadership he had provided.
Man, I feel like, you know, every time you look in the court, you see Jason Kidd standing up and Keith's back talking to everybody on the floor, even the other team. It doesn't matter what's going on the floor. Keith's thinking about the next play, the right play, or the right lineup. And there's a lot of times where we can look at each other and we know if someone's having an off game. We know if someone ain't making some shots, we're gonna have to pick them up. And the first person to pick him up is Keith. You know, he's first person off the floor, first person to dab you up after making a good play, but he's the first person to pick you up if you make a bad play. Being able to have someone like that is amazing. You know, he's been in many different positions. He's been in many different teams. So he has a lot of different looks on what the NBA has. And I've definitely learned a lot from him, and he's taught me a lot.
Derrick, how are you feeling from a health standpoint?
I'm great. Looking left, right. I'm great. You know, everyone's been asking for the past couple of days if I'm all right. You know, if I'm going to get hit in the head another 3-4 times, I'm still get back up and act like nothing happened.
Derrick, are you surprised at the way it's almost like symbiotic relationship with you and Gafford and how that works? And when he was acquired, clearly you were starting. Mm-hmm. What was your feeling about that?
You know, I'm here to win games. I'm not here to care about how many points I put on the board, how many rebounds I put on the board, how many times I start in the game. And he's the same way. You know, I feel like we have a great 1-2 dynamic of picking each other up. No matter if I'm having a bad game, he's having a bad game, or if we're both having a good game, we're going to pick each other up no matter what's going on. You know, being able to have both of us coming out there, setting screens, getting lobs, throwing elbows, catching rebounds, makes our teammates trust us. Since we got the paint, they know that they got to lock down the three-point line and the perimeter. And if they don't, they're just going to send them to us. And having that trust of, okay, if we ain't got them, our bigs got them.
Did it work out even better maybe than you thought?
For sure. And I feel like me and Gafford's dynamic is amazing. You know, I feel like I look at him as an older brother. You know, I've leaned on him many times, understanding the different schemes in the game, understanding different points, when to make a push, when to be able to take care of the ball, and just understanding the flow of the game.
Derrick, there's been a special group of kids that have shown you support this entire season.
Brittany Cohen, you know, she's an amazing teacher. I love everybody a part of that school, a part of that class.
You've talked so much about how much you care about the next generation, and I don't know if you've seen their videos on Twitter. I'm sure that you have, of when they're, you know, reenacting your dunks or just following up with a game the next day. If you could just tell that class anything about the support that they've shown this season, what would it be?
They know I love them. They know that for sure. You know, no matter if they had a lemonade stand, I drove like 45 minutes out, and I almost got there late. But I was just trying to make sure that I can do whatever I can to make an impact in a kid's life. Because, you know, I feel like whenever we're young, we have many dreams, we have many aspirations. And when we grow up, we lose those. You know, we lose sight of who we wanted to be, what dreams we had as a kid. And I feel like we should never lose those things. Those things kind of shape the person who you are, and they shape the future who you could be. So I'm just trying to be able to make sure that no matter if you're 5 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, whatever you want to do, whoever you want to be, do your best to do it.
Derrick, as you mentioned, Boston shoots a lot of threes. You know, they have a tough 5-out offense. How much progression do you think this defense has achieved guarding 5-out offenses?
It's come down to a lot of talk and trust, communication, and just trusting the next man behind you. You know, it's going to be a lot of rotations, a lot of scrambling going on, but I feel like we're going to be able to talk to each other. And even if we mess up, we're going to move on to the next play and learn. Because if we don't learn, then we shouldn't be here.
Derrick, the trade deadline has been pointed to as a turning point for the season. You know, with the talent in place, the pieces that came here, and then the investment on defense. But how does chemistry, how is that a key to the success that this team has going to the finals?
It has a lot. Understanding people's tempos, understanding what they like to do, what makes them uncomfortable, but being able to uplift your teammates because you know what spots to put them in, or you understand what rhythm they like to get into. It took me a little while to understand Kyrie and Lucas, but whenever PJ and Gaff here, it was like they just picked up the things that we were trying to do. They hopped right into the schemes we were running, and they fit like a perfect puzzle piece. So just being able to have that on the floor, off the floor, we are a close-knit family. You know, we always try to lean on one another, where we try to see one another and try to enjoy time with one another. And that's going to make us on the floor tighter and more of a team.
And what have you learned about yourself during this postseason?
Tough as nails, man. I don't care what name, what you do to me, what you throw at me. If I hit the ground, I'm going to get back up.
Derrick, guarding Porzingis and Horford, obviously two floor-stretching bigs. What have you thought of your development, moving your feet in space and guarding on the perimeter this season?
You know, I feel like at the start of the season, it was a little shaky, and throughout the middle of the season, it was definitely a little shaky. But when it comes down to those key moments and we have to sit down and guard, I love it. I love being in those moments. Your adrenaline's pumping, your heart's pumping, and you just feel alive in those moments. Those moments where people try to break you down as a big, and you sitting in front of them, it kind of makes you chuckle because they look at you like, oh, he can move his feet. But, you know, it's definitely taken a long journey of being able to try to stay in front of people, especially people who are as talented as they are in the league.
What do you think is going to be your biggest challenge with facing the Celtics here starting later this week?
Being consistent. No matter if they're making a run, no matter if we're making a run, we got to be able to have our foot on the gas. No matter what's going on the floor, no matter what's going on and what they say in the stands, we got to be able to be poised, be focused, and execute.
How much do you guys relish the underdog role? Because you were not favored in the 3 previous series, you're not favored this year.
You know, I feel like we feel like there's always someone pointing down on us, and we're like, okay, cool. You know, you're going to say that about us. Watch what we about to do next. And we've kind of just taken that to heart. You know, if people are going to just label us as underdogs, overrated, or we can't get things done, we just kind of shrug our shoulders. You know, I feel like we've all dealt with a lot of adversity in our life, a lot of people telling us we can't, and I feel like that drives us. Whenever people tell us we can't, we want to do it a little bit more.
I think a lot of people forget that when the playoffs started, you hadn't played in 3 weeks.
Yeah, actually, yep.
And so your first game back, you were talking about just getting used to the playoffs and getting your win back. At what point in the playoffs did you kind of figure out, hey man, I can do this, I can embrace this?
That's hard. I feel like there was different waves. You know, it's an up and down type of mentality. You know, there's a lot of things that's going to go on. You might have some games where you're perfect from the floor, and you might have games where you're 0 for 4. But it really comes down to whenever you're making a defensive possession and you get a defensive stop and you're pushing on the offensive end and you see everybody on your team take off at the same time. When you're in that same light together, at that point, it doesn't matter what is going on in the court. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter how you're doing at all. When you're going out there and you feel your teammates giving it their all, you just want to give it your all. So I feel like it was around like the Clippers series when we were in LA, and I think we got that first win whenever I felt my team riding behind me every step without a hitch. That's how I knew we were something special.
You had a chance to watch Luka before he became his teammate. And one thing we constantly hear is that he's not a great athlete. And they play with him.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to this idea that he's not a great athlete?
He can hoop. He can hoop. He might not be able to windmill, but you know, he's one of the best players in the world. And being able to say that about somebody is crazy. Knowing people are going to game plan for him, people are going to double him, and he's still going to pick you apart. Being able to have someone on the team like that is amazing, and there's nothing you can compare that to.
Last question, I guess.
Uh-huh.
There's a video of you circulating from All-Star Weekend interviewing Jason Tatum. You know,
Yep.
He's giving you advice on just your rookie season, and now you're facing him in the Celtics in the finals. Just what is that moment like for you, especially the Duke connection?
Full circle. You know, I feel like I've seen him whenever I was back in college, seen him before college, and now going up against him he's an amazing player. They're an amazing team. It gives me, I don't even know what the words to say. It gives me like pins and needles because I'm excited. Being able to go up against such a great team and being able to I know I'm going to fail, but being able to adapt to the things that I'm failing is something I'm looking forward to. Something I'm looking forward to is just going out there, making a mistake, learning, and then correcting that mistake in front of people.
And lastly, you just mentioned failure a lot as like a positive thing. So what's your definition of success?
Definition of success. Not being the same person you were yesterday. Being able to learn, it might just be one little thing, just being able to change one thing in your life. I feel like that's the slow progression that everybody needs. Thank you.
Take us through the lob dunk. Why are they so successful? You guys got almost as many lob dunks as all the other playoff teams combined.
It's just connection and chemistry. Just trusting he's going to throw the ball at the right time, in the right area, and having the trust to know that I'm going to jump and go get it, or Gaff is going to jump and go get it. You know, there's been times in practice where we mess up or the timing might be wrong, but we're going to do it again and again and again until we get it right. You know, I feel like that's what we've done throughout this entire season. No matter if that's on the defensive end or the offensive end, we're going to rep it out as many times until we get it correct, until we can perfect it.